We're going to start this meeting.
I'll do it.
Warning about the people who are listening.
Is there a second on that? I missed that. Okay. Any additions or revisions to the minutes? All right. So all in favor? All
Aye.
approve?
Aye.
Aye. Mike?
Thank you.
And we have some invoices?
Oh, we have a lot of.
Do we have a lot of, we have a lot of stuff tonight, so I'll try to keep us moving through this.
Let's see for the invoices.
All right.
So that one's DPW, so I haven't,
Get them and I bounce them back.
I don't think it needs one, but.
Okay.
I looked at the previous.
Yeah, and we'll take this up with the closeout report.
Oh, okay.
So that's good.
Oh, happy to.
So an invoice from Anthony Savastano for $1,140 for consultation on the agricultural fund. And in his email that's attached are the hours that were spent on the two items that are included in this invoice. So take a look at that. We can put that around. And then we have an invoice for $170. This is for our notice for the public hearing. Is that correct? Yeah. Which is in December. Then we have an invoice for $2,866.52. And this is for a progress payment related to the housing production plan. So this is SERPED, and this is for their staff services. And we'll get an update on that from folks. And then an invoice for $103,692.50. This is for the dog park. And you'll see the contractor payment document here. Let's see if I can. So this includes things such as dig safe, erosion control, site drainage work, furnish and install 6-foot-high fence and gates, stone dust walkway, boardwalk, and additional rock and ledge removal, all out there at the dog park. We have another invoice for $6,707.25, and this is for the buildings condition assessment work at the DCTV building. And then another related, I think that's, let's see, architects. And then this is $8,154.40, which is additional work related to the assessment and construction documents that are being prepared for the DCTV. And then another dog park invoice of $3,097.75. This looks like site survey and plan development work. It's for GAF engineering. And that we're going to deal with in a little bit. While folks are taking a look at that, and when we get all down to the end, you're just going to run us through some votes on those. But
Do you need individual votes for each one, or can we just do a lump?
I probably would do better to do each individual for each one, I think, just so we know that. But we'll give a chance for people to take a look at that.
Try.
In the meantime,
Hey, Rick.
I received correspondence from the coalition, and the Department of Revenue has identified the trust fund contribution for this year, and it works out to be 16.9% for all the communities like Dartmouth that are first-round recipients. So for us, that is going to be $158,211. Less than last year, but a little more, probably about $20,000 or so more than what we're currently estimating in our projected budget. So much warmer in here. We just might want to extend the meeting tonight, so. As an alternative to going home.
I'm on vacation as of tomorrow,
Oh, okay.
So no. He loves to, you're rubbing it, you're rubbing it in.
so.
Yeah.
It's been a long time coming.
You going someplace warm?
Yes, we're going to Florida for a wedding, and then we're going on a cruise.
Oh, nice,
Yes.
nice. You'll miss us, I know.
My children are going to miss me. I'm not here for Thanksgiving.
Oh, we are gonna
my
miss you.
goodness.
Hello, McDonald's.
Yeah.
My daughter will.
How's the turkey gonna get done?
It's funny because we have dinner at my daughter's house, and I do all the cooking. And we go to my son's, who lives 5 minutes away, for dessert. But my grandson is actually going to make the turkey.
Really?
Because he's done it with me for years.
Oh,
My
wow.
daughter don't give him,
Yeah.
wants no part of it. Yeah, so he's gonna.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's very neat.
That's cool. I have yet to cook a turkey.
I hate turkey.
How is that possible?
My
I
mother-in-law
love turkey.
always cooks it, and so far she's still around, and
Still cooking.
as long as she's around, that's
That's
where it
awesome.
gets done. Yeah. But while we're bring this, my oldest son got married last week.
Oh, congratulations.
That was a big deal. We went to Chicago. We had a small wedding out in Chicago. And that was fun.
Oh,
That was a
yeah.
lot of fun. Yep. Yeah.
I haven't been to Chicago in years. Last time I went, I had such a good time.
That's a fun city.
Yes, it is.
Really a fun
Lots
city.
of stuff to do.
Yeah, easy to get around.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, I think I'm ready. Ready?
All right.
Do we get started here? All right, so first, make a motion to approve the legal invoice. Actually, wait a minute, this says vendor Anthony Stavastano. Oh, right, but it's for the Agricultural Fund Conference review, and reviewing documents associated with that.
And that's in the amount of,
In the amount of $1,140.
there, a second?
Second.
Any discussions, questions on that? Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Okay, next, I'd like to make a motion to approve invoice for payable to Dartmouth Week in the amount of $170 for CPC needs assessment.
And a motion, a second?
Second?
Okay. Any questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous.
All right, next I'd like to make a motion to pay Serped $2,866.52 associated with the housing production plan.
Second.
All right, any questions on that? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, and opposed? That's unanimous.
Next, I'd like to make a motion to pay Ramco Survey Stacks $103,692.50 for construction and site work related to the Dartmouth Dog Park.
Second.
And any discussion, questions on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? Nope, it's unanimous.
And I'd like to make a motion to pay Brewster Thornton Group Architects in the amount of $8,154.40 for work relative to DC TV building assessment.
Second?
And any questions, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous.
Next, I'd like to make a motion to pay GAF Engineering, Inc., $3,097.75 for their engineering work relative to the Dartmouth Dog Park.
Second?
Okay, any discussion, questions? All right, all in favor?
Aye?
Any opposed? No, that's unanimous.
And lastly, I'd like to make a motion to pay Brewster Thornton Group Architects $6,707.25 for their work relative to construction drawings for the DC TV building assessment Phase 2.
Second?
Right. And any questions, discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
Aye. And opposed? That's unanimous. I think with all those motions, you've probably burned like 10 calories.
Good job.
That was a record.
I think so.
I never recall approving so many
That's a lot, that's a
in
lot,
one
yeah.
evening.
Yeah, I think that's right, John. Okay.
I think we're missing one.
Oh, come in right here.
There's one coming.
No, we're missing one.
We got more coming.
Oh, there's the last one.
Coming down the pike.
Sorry, thank you.
Went home.
I have
Souvenir.
Michelle doesn't care. She's gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
Still have a lot of work to do before we get tomorrow.
How long are you gonna be gone for?
December 1st.
Whoa, nice. Nice.
Who's gonna answer your phone, Michelle?
Excuse me?
Who's gonna answer your phone?
I'm only kidding, I'm only kidding.
I know you're kidding.
Yeah.
I have it all covered.
I know you do.
Threw a rug over it?
Yeah, yeah, do a rug
Yeah,
over
a lot.
it, yeah.
That's a good one.
All right, the next thing on our agenda is Aiken House grant conditions. So the Aiken House funds were approved at town meeting, so we will now do a grant agreement with DHPT. And so what I was thinking, we have the typical, probably for a project like this, we have the typical conditions for release of funds would be to have the executed lease with the town for the property, so we know they have site control to do this work, and a copy of the contract for the work to be done on the property. And with those things in place, then the funds can be released. And then typical of our grant agreements, 10% will be held back until we get a closeout report, which is basically saying that all the bills have been sent in and there's no further work to be done. It's all wrapped up, kind of thing. So I guess what I'd like is if we approve of those conditions, we have a motion to approve of these conditions for the grant agreement.
So moved.
So, second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, opposed? Okay. And I will get that out tomorrow. Okay, we have, excuse me, a couple of closeout reports. And those, let's deal with the closeout reports first, because with the closeout reports, and I'm trying to get better to make sure we have those in, that's when, if we accept the closeout reports, then we release the rest of the balance of the funds. And so these are projects that have submitted reports and documentation that they are completed. All the bills are in, and they have done the work as proposed and previously approved. So the first I have here is the Pascomansit closeout report. And the one with all the photographs, there was two documents. One was a Word document, and then there was one that has a bazillion photographs of the property. So, let's see. So as Tim has kind of outlined, the property transfer was completed May 30th. The conservation restriction was recorded on May 30th, as was the deed. And he has an invoice for the balance, which is $25,000. And he has summarized the timeline and the parcels, describe the project, and certified that everything is paid up. One question I had on this, well, I don't know if anybody else has any questions on Tim's report. One question I have for Michelle is, do we have a copy of that CR for our files?
I'm not sure.
Okay, we should get one, and if you could ask Tim to give us the copy, because we should have the copy in our files. And one of the things I have to catch up with on the CPA database with the Department of Revenue is to close out a project that has any restriction on it, you have to enter the date and the book and the page number, so I need what's stamped on that CR. So if you could check with him, we get a copy of it. Probably next month, I'll try to catch up on some of these the data for some of this restrictions. Not urgent, I just have to go in and put that stuff in the database to close them out. Okay. Can I have a motion to accept the closeout report for the Pascomansit drinking water and ergo release the remaining balance of funds?
So moved.
All right, and a second?
Second.
Any questions? Discussion? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, great. So, this is the voucher for that balance. Okay. The other, we have the Heritage Trail closeout. And as indicated here, all the expenses have been paid. The signs have been installed. I don't know if anybody's seen those. There's one right near your house, John. Yep. And they have, I did check, as Joe had recommended, it'd be nice to have a few extra signs. And so they do have about 8 signs, and they know where the signs are. So if they need them, they know. As you'll notice here, this came in under budget. So there's probably about $9,851 under budget. What I will do is now confirm with them the surplus that's in the grant amount with a letter, and just say we will this is our understanding of the outstanding balance of CPA funds, and we know that your project is now complete, so we are going to recapture them. And so those funds will go into the recreation reserve. But just in case we have, just so we don't miss something, what I typically do is we'll send a letter and just confirm the dollar amount. So have a motion to accept the closeout report for the Dartmouth Heritage Trail.
Motion.
Okay, any other questions or discussion?
Question, buddy.
Yes.
I didn't realize that I forgot that the ownership would go to the Pathways Committee.
Ownership.
In his last statement from Andrew, ownership of the Heritage Trail now transfers to the Pathways Committee for future development and expansion.
Oh, and so I
I
did not
don't-
catch that. Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't recall
Yeah.
hearing that on the presentation.
yeah.
That, I'm not objecting to it. but
Right,
I
no,
don't-
that's a good catch. I did not catch that.
I
Yeah.
didn't ever recall having that discussion and understand that was the Heritage Trail Group a subcommittee of the Pathways Committee? It was never, to my recollection, it was never presented that way.
Yeah, I think it was a subcommittee, right, it was not presented that way, but I think Andrew basically took this on the Pathways, on behalf of the Pathways Committee. Yeah. But, yeah, right, not described as a subcommittee, but he basically took this one. In terms of, yeah, that's interesting language, because the Pathways Committee doesn't have any standing to hold anything. It's just a committee of the town. So it's the town of Dartmouth is the one who has ownership over those signs and where they are and all that kind of stuff. That's great. I did not catch that at all.
It just doesn't, ownership was probably the wrong word
Yeah.
to use there.
Yeah, I think, yeah, that was
Stewardship.
ownership with a little O or some, right,
The
exactly. It
Pathways
wasn't
are the
really.
stewards of it,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah.
Any other questions, comments on this?
Is that something that we think is an acceptable disposition,
Of what?
going to the Pathways Commission?
Well,
Committee,
it's
or
always been, I think that's the point John was getting
They
clarified.
borrowed the flag?
It's always been with Pathways, as Andrew was working on behalf of that
Okay.
committee, and basically he was running with it. So, have those who approve the closeout report, accepting the
So moved.
closeout
Aye.
report? All right, any opposed? No, that's unanimous. And then I will confirm the outstanding balance to recapture for, okay. We just received today another closeout report. And that is for the Cornell Pond Trail Development. And I don't know if anybody's had a chance at all to look at that. Has anybody had, okay, if we've
Yeah,
had a
I didn't
chance.
see any issues with it.
What's that?
I didn't see any issues with it.
Yeah. The study is complete, and what Chris has provided, if people want to take a quick look at this, because it came in today, if you want to take a quick look at this, it's the assessment of options for creating a trail that's accessible for the Cornell Pond property that also can connect with the, I think it's the Howland.
DNRT.
Yeah, it's a DNRT property that's just up the street, about a quarter mile or less. Let me send this out. Take a look if people want to thumb through this. And while we're doing that, I also received this morning requests for the, from Sandra Medeiros of the South Coast Bikeway Alliance to extend the term of their current MOU to December 2026. It expires in November. I had it expiring November 12th this year. And so they did get the grant from the state for, I don't know, like $225,000, something like that, which will now, with the Dartmouth, Fall River, and New Bedford CPA funds, will be what they were looking for in order to do the engineering of the bike path. And
Motion to grant the requested extension.
second? Any questions? All right, so extend to December 26th. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No, that's unanimous. I'll send a letter out. Okey-dokey. And then we received a few project status reports, and I know they're over the time, they've built up, so I believe that it's the ones after, so it's only really the ones from after the mid-October, after our October meeting.
Okay.
But the one question I had, so we had, and these are ones that came with the invoices for Housing Production Plan, DCTV, and the regional park, the dog park. Those, I wanted to get in touch with Chris, because it really doesn't have anything on like what the current status is of the project, which is kind of really what we want to know. It can only be a line or two, but we just kind of want to have a sense of how things are progressing. So I'll ask him to just at least fill in something in that section to let us know where these projects stand, and then resend them to us.
Percent complete would be
Yeah.
nice to know,
Yes, exactly, yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
with some little, a little detail, but,
Yeah.
40% complete with,
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a lot, but just enough to know where these projects are. Yep, so I'll ask him to do that. The dinghy storage, we did get a detailed status report in mid-October, the 14th. Don't know if we've looked at this one. But the harbor master, Steve Mello, has indicated that, they did not receive the SEC grant of $45,000, but they went to town meeting and got approval for a warrant article that repurposed some of the enterprise retained earnings for this project. And so they, along with the CPA, along with the CPA funds of 9,000, and the warrant article moved, committed 45,000 from the enterprise. Total funding for the projects is 54,000 that they now have. And they are going to move forward with two, and look at this as two projects. One is the installation of racks that will hold beach dinghy kind of structures, and then the second is one for kayaks. So they're two different kinds of structures for storing. The kayaks are, I guess you can get more on these tree kind of things. He describes it as what they're looking to is get it all done by March of 2026. So they have to go out to get bids for these two projects. So they got the funds, and then they're moving forward with it. All right. Okay. Could either Margaret or Michael, maybe both of you, just give us a little bit on the housing production plan?
You first.
Okay. So I was at the last meeting. I actually had to leave a little early, though, because the meeting went a little longer than
Oh,
I thought it
Dragged
was
out.
going to. But I think at that particular meeting, if I remember correctly, and you can jump in here, Margaret, to save me, is that I think we were going through actual, like, stated goals and trying to come up with the goals and sort of the strategy around those goals on some of the recommendations that Serpide was making, primarily based on, you know, their experience working in other towns, but also what they had heard, I think, from other folks in town as to whether it be the overlay districts that we talked about. We talked about 40R priorities in terms of, what's the new thing for the starter home program? So there was a lot of like policy type related initiatives that were discussed about that could be pursued. Talked about certain locations for some of these districts where they were most appropriate. All in an effort to try to achieve the goals of, you know, increasing production of affordable housing for, you know, for a slew of different demographic, you know, households.
We came up with 9, I believe. right?
9, okay.
9 of them, and we put them all in order by priority.
Yep.
Well, everybody thought was the most important, and down to the 9. But planning asked me, and that was a draft, we're still gonna get one that's condensed, right, when she's finished with it? Okay, because I said it's not done yet, it was just a draft.
Right,
But,
that's my understanding.
yeah, that was my understanding too.
So I didn't know, is there another meeting? Did they talk at the end about scheduling another one?
They'll
Or
have another one, but they didn't give a date.
okay. Yep. So it's
But we're
still in
almost
progress.
Yes, almost done.
Does that, is there, is the CPA included
Yeah,
in
so
kind
the
of
one
these
pitch
strategies?
that I made was, I don't know if you heard my comment on the CPA, the way they had it worded, it made it sound like we were only gonna entertain funding projects that helped with accessibility-related issues. And so I brought up the fact that, you know, again, the CPA funds are typically used to leverage other dollars to develop affordable housing, and we wanna make sure that that is being, you know, marketed appropriately in our affordable housing production plan, so that way we can utilize the resources for that goal.
And, you know, I did say that, you
Yeah.
know, the state mandates what we can do. So we can't be changing what we're gonna be doing because we're
Yeah.
mandated by the state.
Yeah,
You know.
No, we were mentioned.
okay. Great.
One of the things I thought of was the idea that you had, but I feel like that's a bigger discussion, not just amongst us as a community, but us regionally, is like the pooling some of the CPA funds
Yeah,
together.
like a regional,
Like a regional pot, if you will.
Yeah.
For projects, so that way, you know, communities that need the affordable housing, but they may not have the dollars, there could be, regionally, a way to do that, so.
Yeah, I
Or
think,
vice versa, they have the dollars, but they, that's what I meant to say.
right, yeah, I think it'd be interesting to see what that, because certainly the CPA does do regional projects, and actually encourages that, some of this, the Scenic Greenway is a regional kind of CPA effort. And yeah, and, especially you've got in our midst, communities like say, New Bedford, that is a bigger pot of CPA funds. And probably in their interest to pool it and help kind of distribute the kind of the work of affordable housing. That it's not all just a New Bedford kind of issue, but it would be a vehicle which New Bedford, say, if you will, could pony up.
Yeah, no, it makes me think of like, the federal home funds where certain communities, like probably New Bedford, they get direct home funds from HUD. And then there's other communities that, like Taunton, where there's a consortium of communities. So it's like basically from Lakeville all the way to Attleboro, but Taunton's sort of the administrator of the program. And they have a regional fund, so if there's a project in Attleboro, if there's a project in, Lakeville or whatever, they can have that project come before the Greater Attleboro Taunton Home Consortium, and then they vote on that particular project. So they kind of pool the resources of the region together to try to advance affordable housing. So, made me think of that when you brought it up. So I think it's a good idea. I just don't know if it's something we would want to incorporate in the production plan, or, because right now, at least the way it's drafted, at least it says that the CPA funds could be used
Right.
to leverage those dollars, So I think that's good, probably good enough for now. Yeah.
It might be interesting to float that with the SERPED folks, because while it might not be a kind of a particular fit for this production plan,
It's an idea that they might.
an idea that SERPED
Could work
maybe
on.
could provide a little structure for.
The other thing, I'll just throw this out there, that I know that some other communities have done with CPA funds, is that they've actually bonded for a particular project, municipal bonds, and they've used the CPA funds to pay for the debt service on the bonds.
Yeah.
And so it could be used in that capacity too, again, just as a financing mechanism to advance a project that the community really supported, let's say, in town.
Are you meaning that to commit ahead of time to pay debt service on a project being undertaken?
Yeah,
I didn't know we could do that.
yeah, yep.
No, I didn't know we could do that.
Well, I mean, in the past year, there was borrowing.
Early on in town, on land acquisitions.
Oh.
Because those are big numbers, all up front. And so we did probably a 5 or 6. Our debt service got really
Housing production.
high percentage, almost 50% of our revenue
we're talking about that now.
at one
Get into
point.
that.
And then we had met with Finance Committee a number of years ago, and they were really, kind of cautioning us to
That's
get our debt
what
service
Serpent-
below 25%,
Margaret are on the committee,
which now we've
then we're just giving them an update.
got it down to 0.
Zero,
So
yeah.
we haven't borrowed probably for about 20 years,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, no, I'm just throwing it out there as
Yeah.
again, it's a tool
Yeah.
that other communities are doing, and, in terms of the production plan, if we want to state that, that's an option, we could just, it's already out there, it's definitely an
Yeah, it's
option.
a choice
But it's a
we-
choice
yeah.
we as a community would make to, not that there's a project right now to do it,
Right.
but to be willing to do it, I guess, to be open to doing it, if the right project came around. And obviously, that doesn't exist right now. So, hard to,
Yeah,
talk
and we
about something like
certainly, we have the room to borrow, because we have no debt service at this point, and we've had the experience, so I would imagine it's fair to say that, yeah, that's a possibility. The committee would have to really weigh, you know, the particulars of it, but in terms of a tool,
Yeah.
yeah, that's available to us.
Yeah, it would definitely have to be really a municipal, like, a project that the municipality really wanted, that they brought forward. I couldn't see that happening, like, for just an outside developer coming in and saying, oh, yeah, let us do that, you know, but.
Yeah.
But like, I know, like, other communities, like Needham has looked into it as well for a couple of their properties, more associated with redevelopment of public housing.
How does regional collaboration between towns work?
With the CPA, I haven't seen that, so I don't know. That's sort of new, but I know that on the home funds, like I mentioned, it just is, it's a cooperation agreement amongst the communities. And as the example I gave in Taunton, they're the administrator of the program. But there's a board or committee that,
Okay, administrative services.
yeah, they just
Okay.
administer the program, yeah.
I knew of another case where a town housing authority basically provided staffing, I mean, the management of an adjacent town's housing authority. And, yeah, okay.
Yeah, similar model, yeah.
All right, great. Well, thank you both for taking on a bunch of extra meetings. It sounds like the conversations are interesting,
They are.
so I appreciate it.
Yeah, and Serpent's, I think, doing a good job of leading it, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh, great, great. Any other questions, thoughts on the production plan? All right, welcome, Joe. Always good to see you.
One meeting to another.
Yeah? So, old business, open space preservation process. I think I have on my books a meeting this week with Cody and Mark, but I have to check and see if that's still happening. I think that was Cody's intention, was to follow up with our previous meeting with some more specifics about how the town would structure a joint CR. Like, how would they contract for it? What would the basic terms of it look like in terms of the kinds of things that the town would be responsible for versus, say, like a Buzzards Bay kind of thing? But I'm not sure. I have to check with him. I haven't gotten any notice. I just had it in my book because we had talked about this date. So I don't know if that's going to happen, but I think that's one of the things that Cody is trying to work out with Mark. So what would that look like? Because I think that does seem, I think everyone agreed that it is an important, it would be an important feature that would enable the town to hold additional conservation restrictions without overtaxing the limited staff that they have. If we were to do future acquisitions for open space or agriculture or recreation that needed a restriction on it, if it was jointly held, we could, CPA funds could fund the endowment that would represent the private entities' kind of commitment in the joint CR. So I'll see if that's still on for this week, but if not, that's the next step for that. So I think that's kind of moving along. I think people kind of understand concept, a way forward. So I think that's still pretty good. I did get, related to open space, I did get a question from Nick at DNRT. They're looking at the possibilities. They have a plan they would like to make at Ocean View, which is the open space parcel way out on Jordan Road, out that way.
Oh, yeah.
Next to Around the Bend Farm. was acquired with CPA funds. And they have a trail that goes way out on the property, and then they have an observation deck. I don't know if anybody's walked out there. They would like to make that handicapped accessible. So I'm inquiring, I asked Nick to send us a eligibility consultation. We could talk to him in December. So in the meantime, I've kind of sought some opinion from the coalition and saying, is this something that would work since the property was originally acquired with CPA funds? So Nick should be here. So the plan is for Nick would come at our December meeting. We'll talk about that idea. And I will have an answer from the coalition by then on that. Historic building inventory?
Yep, we have gotten all, except for one, we've gotten all the Form B drafts, and we're waiting on the last, which is Form A for the Smith Mills camp. But she's made the visit, she's doing the write-up. And we have a meeting scheduled for next Tuesday at 9 here in the office. Myself, Sue Gaducci, and Linda DeRoche is volunteering her time to help us, and she's been through this process a few times before. And we're gonna get everything printed out and review it together and make comments, and then give it back to Lynn so she can do some final edits. And we're hoping by February to get the last one and be able to review it. It might be March, but it seems like we're very close.
Good.
Yeah, questions? And we haven't received any invoices.
She hasn't sent anything,
Okay,
just drafts of reports.
all right.
Do we get any more from them on the old library, North Library, moving on their property? Is there anything more on that, or?
I have not heard a thing.
I know that
Yeah.
I know they came in, talk about that. It's kind of been radio silent for a while. I wasn't sure if they just kind of let it go.
Yeah, well, trying to think here.
I know we had some discussion on it, whether or not it was gonna be available for, other than like the Boy Scouts or whatever it was, would be for public to go in. I think that was the hang-up, but I wasn't sure if they
Yeah.
worked through that
Yeah,
with
and
the
I think-
property owner.
Right, I think it was left, we had asked Salvestano's office for, just some thoughts on like, is this something that's feasible, how would that work? And the response was, this really should be driven by the select board
Okay.
wanting to do this. And so they should go to the select board and say, we are willing to do this. Is that something we should, we could do? And then Salvestano's office, so then it would be worth going through the details, which it kind of makes sense.
I know it had been a while, so I just.
I don't think they've gone to the select board.
Haven't heard anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Ag Fund. We didn't get a chance to talk,
Yeah.
but we'll talk, but anything you can,
Yeah, so
Okay.
there's been a discussion about the group that would hold the fund. So I think we had talked about it being the AgCom itself.
yeah.
And Sue Gaducci has some really good points about why it should be something that resembles the former Ag Preservation Fund group. And that's because it had people from different boards so that it would get input from more than just the AgCom on potential properties to preserve. So we're at kind of a, how do we do that?
Okay, yeah. Yeah, the statute is pretty clear. It has to be, it's under the Ag Commission.
Right,
So that can't be altered.
okay.
But then how to get to this other piece where these,
I think because it, when land comes up, you know, it usually comes up pretty quickly. And it's, so having the opinion of different boards and having different boards and parts of the town kind of understanding what's going on makes it just quicker for these things to happen. And so I guess we're at the, you know, how do you get input from different groups onto which pieces to preserve and which not? That's where I want to talk to you.
Okay, yeah, we could talk about that. There's
Yeah.
probably ways to figure that out. If you want to talk to any, about like what a capitalization plan might look like in terms of dollar figures. You don't have to quote any dollar figures, but
No,
are you
no, it's-
talking about that, or?
It's been a slow process.
Okay,
Yeah. So we would, love to move forward with the January application, which would mean December that we'd, come and, request a consultation. But I just don't know that at the speed of the AgCom, which is a slightly slower group, I think, because it just doesn't meet as often and, but I think if we can figure out this hiccup of, there's kind of a divide in the AgCom about who should hold it, and knowing some more technicalities about that, and if there is a way to solve getting input from I think we'll make it move faster.
okay. Great, well, we can chat about that, of like how to strategize ways of doing something like that. Okay, sounds good. The next item on, or any other questions on the Ag Fund? Okay, just to remind folks where we left off is the town meeting does not have to create an Ag Fund. By statute, Ag Funds can be established by the town itself. It's essentially an accounting thing. You can name the fund, and the fund then can receive dollars for it. Kind of the way a conservation fund works. So we have to post our funding schedule for fiscal '27. So this is kind of the dates to receive and review proposals for June and October town meetings next year. So I looked at our typical funding schedule and made adjustments for 2026. So proposals, so for June round, proposals would be due on the 28th of January. And we would receive them and talk about them in our February meeting. And then in our March meeting, we would make our recommendations, because we'd have the public hearing on the proposals, and then usually we can make recommendations on the proposals at our March meeting. And then town meeting would be June 2nd. And then for October, the proposals would be due the June 24th. We would review them at our July meeting, and then have presentations in August and make our recommendations. And the town meeting on our typical schedule would be the 20th of October next year. So what we need to do, if any questions or have a motion, we'll approve this, and then we'll need to get it posted on our webpage.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that's unanimous. Can you do this, can you do postings from a cruise ship?
Yeah, it's gonna be,
I mean, the Wi-Fi could let you do anything, right?
Carnival Capers.
I am not getting that, believe it or not,
All right,
but I could probably get that up tomorrow.
okay. I'll email this to you.
Okay.
I do have one question, sorry.
Yeah,
Do we need to, and the answer is probably no, because it's not here. Do we need to put the date, like, in other words, the last date of requests is December 5th of this calendar year? Do you need to put the date of, like, for them to make a presentation? You know what I mean, how they usually come in and to appear before the CPC? Do they,
Oh.
do we need to have, to offer that, or tell them when that would be?
well, we typically haven't,
That's just kind of scheduled?
because as that goes, we do that with other correspondence in the
Yeah.
process. Once we get a proposal,
Okay.
then we say we send a letter inviting them to come to.
Okay.
I don't think so, but,
Okay, that's fine.
You get 2 months, January, February.
Yeah, no, right, that's why I was wondering if it's something like in between those dates, putting like presentations or something like that. Okay.
all right. So our next meeting is going to be December 9th, I believe.
December 9th.
Yep.
That's my heart beating again. Beautiful.
We have two important things to do. One is approve the fiscal '27 needs assessment and plan, which we're required to by statute to do that. So we'll see if we've got any comments. We'll talk about it, make any adjustments to it, and then approve it and post it on our website. And then the second is we'll need to go through the current agreements and look at which ones are still active and need extensions and vote extensions, because we've tried to line up our agreements as either expiring in December 31st or expiring June 30th. So there'll be a few that we'll look at and want to, that are still active, and then we'll want to approve extensions for those. So a couple important things we don't want to kind of miss. So, I will, let's see, December 9th. I probably could bake some cookies.
The important thing.
Probably should bake, I probably could do that.
Some
And,
CPC cookies.
and Gretchen would bake some, I think, if I asked, so.
And then we're supposed to tell which ones are which?
Yeah, we could do that again, and Joe missed out last year.
Yeah, I know, I missed the cookies, yeah.
Yeah.
Still distraught about that.
They were good.
They were very good.
Mike had a good nose for it. He could tell which were mine.
That's right.
Great.
Yeah, it's the same night.
Okay, I think
Motion
that
to
is our
adjourn.
agenda.
All
We
right.
have a motion to, and we have a second, and all in favor of adjourning?
All right.
Happy Thanksgiving to all. Thank you all
That's
for
right.
coming.
Happy
Great to
Thanksgiving.
see you.